faith in Jesus is not like Grandma's tchotchkes, where they sit on the shelf and look pretty but have no actual function. There's a reason you're not allowed to touch them. They're fragile, they don't do anything, and they might break. Faith in Jesus is rugged and actually works. It's more like a Swiss Army knife that can be carried and used for everything. That's the message of the book of James. A faith that works. A faith that gets put into action. It does something instead of just sitting there. James is a fascinating character too. Imagine what it would take for you to believe that your big brother, who you grew up with and probably shared a room, was God in the flesh. That's exactly what happens in the first century of James, the little brother of Jesus. We find in Scripture that James did not believe his big brother was actually God in the flesh. He was skeptical. James wasn't even his big brother's crucifixion. He probably thought Jesus was crazy. Interestingly, because the Apostle Paul later records that Jesus appeared to James after his resurrection. And history records James later became the pastor of the church of Jerusalem. Scripture calls James one of the pillars of the church. He went from not believing in his big brother to being a pastor and teaching people to follow his big brother. James followed Jesus till the end. He died following Jesus. We find at the end of James' life, history records him being thrown off the pinnacle of the temple in Jerusalem, the same place where his big brother was tempted. When he didn't die from the initial fall, he was beaten to death with a fuller's club. James' last words echo the same words his big brother echoed many years before. Forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. Even at the end of his life, he was following in his big brother's footsteps. And I could just imagine, as James closed his eyes for the final time, him seeing face to face his big brother. Join us at Berean Bible Church as we study